It begins with a man's organs being churned into a bloody pulp. Then a woman hooks up high-voltage wires, and in an instant, sparks explode everywhere. The man convulses violently, white smoke pouring from his mouth, and before long, he's literally cooked alive. This is one of those movies that leaves you feeling strangely satisfied by the end. The electrocution is just an appetizer. What follows only gets more intense. What kind of hatred could drive someone to such cruelty? It all goes back to that day. Katie, a model, had arranged a shoot with a somewhat well-known photographer. On a snow-covered street, she made her way to the studio, where three brothers were waiting for her. After changing into a dress, they got to work, each taking on their role. At first, everything seemed normal, but after a few shots, Ivan suggested trying something different, subtly hinting at nude photos. He claimed it would boost her popularity, but Katie refused to sacrifice her dignity for the job. Behind her, Nikki's expression darkened as he mocked her, telling her to stop pretending. Frustration and anger filled Katie, and she decisively walked out of the studio. She thought that was the end of it, but what came next was beyond anything she could have imagined. That night, Katie stepped out to take out the trash. After returning, she locked the door tightly and went to bed. In the middle of the night, a strange noise woke her. She turned on the light, only to find George secretly filming her. Terrified, Katie trembled all over and angrily demanded that he leave immediately. But George ignored her completely. She tried to run, only to find the door already locked tight. Panic and despair set in. George grabbed her by the throat from behind and slammed her head repeatedly, like a madman. Each impact sent waves of unbearable pain through her. A neighbor downstairs heard the commotion and rushed up to check, only to be stabbed multiple times by George and collapse, dead. Then George did something unspeakable to Katie, leaving her in tears of humiliation. About a minute later, after venting his twisted desires, he finally realized what he'd done and quickly called his two brothers. Not long after, Ivan and Nikki arrived. Faced with the chaotic room and the body on the floor, they remained eerily calm. They put on gloves, wiped away all fingerprints, and disposed of the neighbor's body. As for Katie, they stuffed her into the trunk and drove her out of the apartment. When she came to, she found herself imprisoned in a dark basement, feeling someone touching her. Turning her head, she saw Nikki grinning at her in a disturbing way. Katie screamed in terror, but no one came to help. After a while, George arrived and shoved Nikki aside. Katie begged for water, but Nikki only mocked her. Seeing this, George flew into a rage and started fighting Nikki. It wasn't until Ivan showed up that they were separated, and he tossed a blanket over her. After they left, Katie noticed a small window in the cellar. Later, while George was helping her get dressed, she suddenly fought back and managed to climb out through the window. Out on the freezing winter streets, she desperately begged passers-by for help, but no one stopped. It wasn't until she encountered a police officer that she was finally taken to the station. During questioning, she learned something shocking. Just days ago she had been in the United States, and now she was somehow in Bulgaria. She told the police everything, but they dismissed her as mentally unstable. At that moment, a blonde woman arrived at the station. Her name was Anna, the head of a shelter that helped abused women. Anna promised to take Katie to the US Embassy, so Katie got into her car, and they drove to what was supposed to be a safe shelter. Anna told her to pick out a coat from the storage room, but when Katie stepped inside, she was horrified. It was the same basement she had been held in.
Welcome back.
Trying to hurt my family.
She was imprisoned again, screaming in pain and despair, only to realize that Anna was working with the brothers. That night, a man arrived, the father of the three brothers. To punish Katie for escaping, he brutally shocked her with an electric baton, ignoring all her pleas for mercy. Only after she was convulsing and coughing up blood did he finally leave. Then the three brothers took turns abusing her. When they grew bored, they dug a pit and buried her alive, box and all. When she woke up, she found herself in a sewer. The pit had been dug too deep, connecting to it. After wandering for a long time, Katie found a door. When she opened it, she discovered it led into a church. But by now, she trusted no one. She only stole some food and returned to the sewer. She was caught by a priest, who, out of kindness, gave her food. After eating, she left the church and arrived at the embassy entrance. Home was right in front of her, but she hesitated. The anger and hatred deep inside wouldn't let her leave. Katie returned to the sewer. Looking up at the hole where she had once been buried alive, a chilling smile appeared on her face. She knew she had to finish this herself. Over the next few days, she scouted her enemy's house, memorizing every detail. Once ready, her revenge began. Her first target was Nikki. He was partying at a bar with several women, completely unaware of the danger. After drinking, he suddenly felt sick and rushed to the bathroom. Katie seized the moment, shoving his head into a toilet filled with vomit. Just as he was about to suffocate, she pulled him out, only to force him back in again. She repeated this over a dozen times until he lost consciousness, then drowned him completely. Next was George. She secretly placed her necklace into his glass. After drinking, George spotted a figure that looked like Katie and followed it into the sewer. There, she ambushed him from behind and tied him up. Katie began slicing into his skin, venting all her rage. Then she smeared mustard onto his wounds, making him feel the pain she had endured, only worse. She left him there to die by and moved on. The third target was their father. The hypocritical monster was still pretending to be righteous in church, until he spotted Katie. He followed her into the sewer, only to be ambushed. When he woke up, he found himself tied up in his own basement. Katie stood before him, holding an electric baton like a goddess of vengeance, staring at him coldly. She began shocking him repeatedly, targeting his most sensitive areas. After several rounds, his body was already convulsing uncontrollably, but she didn't stop. She shoved a drill into his mouth. As it spun, his insides were turned into mush. Then she connected high-voltage wires to the bed frame, sending sparks flying. With the drill and electricity working together, his body was cooked inside and out, convulsing, smoking, until the entire basement filled with a sickening smell. Before long, he was completely fried. With him dealt with, only Anna remained. Back home, Anna noticed her favorite doll had been destroyed and immediately suspected Katie. She rushed to the basement to check if Katie had escaped. Instead, she was shoved into the sewer and locked inside a box. Katie slammed the lid against her head again and again, venting her fury. When Ivan returned home and found everyone missing, he went to the basement and discovered the pit now connected to the sewer. He entered and found his injured brother, but before he could react, Katie knocked him unconscious. When he woke up, he was tied to a bed. His turn had come. Katie used pliers to brutally mutilate him, and his screams echoed in agony. At that moment, the police finally arrived. The father had gone missing after entering the sewer, and the priest had reported it. Following the trail, officers found the location. As Katie turned away, Ivan used a rope to strangle her. The police ordered him to stop, but he was too consumed by rage. Just as Katie was about to be strangled to death, the police were forced to shoot Ivan. The officer was filled with guilt. If he had believed Katie earlier, none of this would have happened. In the end, the court ruled that Katie's actions were not illegal. She returned to the embassy entrance once more. This time, her face showed only relief. The wicked had finally been punished, and Katie could go home without regrets.